Comic Haul for May 2020. Hey everyone, it's VM Campos Comic Book Fan! Welcome to the latest episode of the weekly VM Campos Comic Book Club. It's time for the monthly haul, where I show you the comic books I picked up this month. And yes, comic books are back! Hashtag BackTheComeback. I was able to go to my local comics and stuff here in San Diego and pick up the comics that I've been meaning to get for a while. But no thanks to the coronavirus, I wasn't able to get them. Until now, so let's talk about them. First up from Marvel Comics, we've got Star Wars Dr. Aphra #1. So yes, Dr. Aphra starting in a new series again. This is the series that brought you one of the latest and most beloved characters in the Star Wars canon. To my knowledge, Dr. Aphra has not appeared in any of the animated stuff or any movies or anything like that, but you never know. She's popular enough to have another #1 after her original series went to 50 issues or something? She first appeared in the Darth Vader series #3, which I have. Also the Mexican variant, no big. So a brand new series. She's basically like Indiana Jones, she's a rogue, she's Han Solo, she's all that good stuff. So I got the variant cover. Variant #3 for Marvel Comics. Venom has gotten to issue 25 again, or Legacy number 190. So a lot of stuff's going on. This is the first appearance of an important character. So I got one of the variants. This is variant #8. Pretty cool cover. We've got the usual symbiote taking over Eddie Brock, and a cool depiction out in the city. I think his leg's a little weird actually here. But the sunset is cool. The tendrils and the symbiote looks great. I like the perspective of it all. So I remember reading first about Venom way back in 1988 with Amazing Spider-Man #300, well actually 299, his little cameo, right? And I still have my original copy of Amazing Spider-Man #300, which I recently got another nicer copy of it, so I've got the newsstand edition and the direct edition, the comic shop version, in my collection. Plus the recent 3D version, so now I've got Venom 25 added to the collection. Moving over to the distinguished competition, okay, well, it's a great time for the virus to be happening because this is really disrupting our collecting of some of these important books. Now, I'm late to the party. I was not able to get Batman #89, I got Batman #90. Second printing, so Punchline is the new character that's making a big splash over at the Batman books, as well as the designer. And so here I got the second printing of #90. Now, it seems, from what I understand, the second printings and such are also starting to have values, not as great as the first printing, of course, but people are starting to say, hey, second printing, third printing, and such, still pretty good. And when they get into like these fifth and sixth printings that are even more rare, then it sort of starts to it dips down and it comes back up in value. Never as much as the first printing. But first printing, second printing, fifth printing, those kind of have a little bit of value. So, yep, brand new storylines going on, brand new characters. This is Batman #90, second printing. Speaking of second printing, how about Nightwing #2, second printing, Journey to Joker War. This is the variant cover. Well, second printing, as you can see there in the barcode, the #2 at the very end means second printing, if you didn't know that, if it's not obviously stated anywhere else. Plus the cover's a little bit different. It's red rather than the sort of like pink color. And we have the Joker wearing Nightwing's outfit, and he's like, fits like a glove. So you don't sleep on like second printings. Those might have some value going on, just like Batman #1, New 52 version that went up to several printings, and even the second through fifth printings or whatever are still worth a little bit. So check those back issue bins. So what do we think about the 100-page books that are coming out at the Walmarts? This is the 100-page From Beyond the Unknown Giant. Love this cover. I was trying to see who made it. It sort of looks like a Roquefort cover, but might not be. I don't see his signature anywhere. But these are pretty fun. It's 100 pages. It's only $4.99. A bunch of stories collected for that low price. Old stories, new stories. These covers are often cool. We've got 6 action-packed stories. Some old, some new. Some of them have had a little bit of value going on. Remember that one where Lois Lane gets killed in every single page? Never got a chance to get one of those, but if you find those out in the wild, make sure you snap it up. Finally, I have Mercy number 2. This is a brand new series by Mirka Andolfo, who first created Unnatural in Italy, then published it at Image Comics, and is also publishing a little story called Unsacred over at Ablaze. And here we have Unmercy number 2. So a really interesting story. It's just like this weird gothic horror story going on about some lady that might be evil and stuff at a mining town. It's really interesting. It's violent. It's sexy. Finally got issue number 2. After the pandemic started, they pushed back a bunch of comics, such as issue number 2. I got number 1. I got a few variants of number 1, such as the cosplay cover. And here's number 2, regular cover. Brand new series. It's kind of interesting to see that, okay, Star Wars is at Marvel, which used to be at Dark Horse. But then now they've also got some happening at IDW. Plus, I kind of don't like their new logo. It doesn't really have much style, unfortunately. It reminds me like one of those pins on a map. Here we have Star Wars Adventures, The Clone Wars Battle Tales, number 1. So I still kind of get freaked out when I see the Disney logo on Star Wars stuff. I'm still not used to it, even though it was way back in 2012 that Disney bought Star Wars. But anyway, here's another new number 1. I got cover A. It's part of the whole Star Wars Adventures, sort of like for younger readers series. I love the art. It's really cool how in the comics are way better than the movies because they can expand upon them even more, plus your imagination really makes it better, so I couldn't pass up a new number 1 Star Wars book. Vengeance of Vampirella number 7. I was not able to get the cosplay variant cover. The local shop, basically, they don't order the cosplay covers unless the person requests them. But anyway, I'm reading Vengeance of Vampirella. It's kind of cool, like 90s kind of style, but in the 2020s, written by the original author of the one from the 90s, so this is a volume 2. Basically, the world is on the brink of hell. Vampirella was defeated back in the 90s. After 20 years, the world is dying under the thumb of Mistress Nyx and the Lords of Chaos. So Vampirella's back to try to save humanity. Wonderful cover. I like this realistic style. I would have rather had the cosplay cover, but I'm enjoying the story, so I picked this one up. Okay, here's one that I guess I have to beep out when I talk about it. We have Motofumi Kobayashi's Cat 1, Volume 1, Issue 1, as well as Volume 1, Issue 2. So it's basically the Vietnam War with cute animals, gerbils, and rabbits, and cats, and such. This was originally printed in Japanese. Here we have Antarctic Press, celebrating 35 years. And they're printing the latest version of this series. Now, some people complain that it's flipped or flopped, and there's going to be another version of it that's in the original right to left, but I couldn't help pass up this book, especially because I was able to get Volume 1, Issue 1 and 2 at my local shop, both at once. How do we feel about the new Antarctic Press logo? We don't see the Arctic there anymore. It's always kind of been the continent of Antarctica, that is. We kind of always had that as part of the logo, although, you know, the AP is also part of it. Do we miss Antarctica? Speaking of Mirka Andolfo, here it is, Unsacred number 5. So this has been a fun story. When I first bought it and I skimmed through it, I didn't quite love it, but then as I sat down and actually read it, it's funny, it's cute, it's sexy. It's outlandish, it's real. It's about Damiano, who falls in love with Angelina, the angel in this world, and they date for 7 years, and all the while, Angelina remains completely chaste, saving herself for marriage. And for the first several issues, for the first 3 issues, I guess, that actually happens, so much to his chagrin. And so it's the trials and tribulations in short vignettes of dating. What happens when an angel dates a devil? Eventually they do create the beast with 2 backs, but they're still resolved to get married. So that's on the horizon. But Angelina, would want a child as well. So we'll see how that works out for them. And lastly, Year Zero number 1 of 5. So this is finally out. It's yet another zombie story. Now that The Walking Dead is done, there's a few zombie books that are coming out to take its place. Here we have sort of the depiction of the zombie apocalypse at different points in the world with different characters. I got the wraparound cover of this one. This is variant cover number 2. I think it looks pretty epic. These mountain of zombies coming at one of the main characters. Again, it's an ensemble cast. It is from AWA, which is, what is that, American Writers Association, I believe? Or Upshot. So, brand new comic book to check out if you're into the zombies genre. So there you go, those are the comics that I got this particular month. It feels really good to be able to go back to a comic shop and to get some new books, some old books, some reprints to catch up with everything, and to see a bunch of new number ones, to start a new story, to see some new characters, to feel a little bit of normalcy. Don't forget hashtag BackTheComeback and tell me all about the books here. What do you like? What don't you like? What am I missing? What are you getting? I'd love to hear about it. Don't forget to also like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I really appreciate when people share my comic book stuff. Head on over to Patreon, patreon.com/vmcampos, to follow for free and be alerted to everything that I do regarding comics and Magic the Gathering. Don't forget to check out my weekend show, The Top Comic Book Picks with VM Campos, where I talk about the comic books you need to know about for the upcoming week in the world of comics, for the final order cutoff date. You get the free version, about 10 minutes or so, where I talk about a bunch of great comics every single week, and then the longer version, you can get it for $1 at my Patreon, or simply follow for free. At the $2 range, you'll get a comic book in appreciation from my curated collection, or you can simply follow for free. I appreciate that as well. This has been the weekly VM Campos Comic Book Club, and I'll see you next week.